even with the amount of vent cutouts, fitting the ROG Ally skins is fairly simple. To start off, just make sure the ROG Ally is all clean and free from dust. If you use any cleaning fluids, make sure they don't leave like an oily film or anything. Using tweezers is easier to weed out all the cutout parts. It can be a little bit time consuming, but trust me, the back with all the vent holes takes heaps longer. Removing all the vent holes can be a little bit time consuming, but trust me, it looks heaps better than just having one huge cutout. Tried it different ways, and this way just looks a lot better. Once all the cutouts have been removed, then we can finally start getting the skin installed. This part is so easy. Just basically peel it up and then slap it on. There's so many vent holes, it's easy to line it up. Once you're happy with the placement, then you can like press down and make sure the skin's stuck in place. Just rub over the edges to help smooth it off and keep it stuck in place. Now we can move on to the side piece. Again, just peel it up. It'll take a little bit more time to align this one because it's so curved on the sides. But once you've got it aligned, just gently press it down. If you try and press it down fully at this point, then it's going to give you heaps of creases. It's better to use a heat gun or a hairdryer just to warm up the skin slightly. It doesn't need to be too hot. It's just warming it up just to let the material relax, and then it becomes all flexible. And as you can see, once you've warmed it up a bit, it's so easy to wipe any creases out. Now we just need to wipe over the edges. This will help just smooth the edge of the skin off. It'll make it a lot better when you're gaming, and it won't feel like a rough edge. There's a little bit for the joystick as well. Don't put this on if you don't want to, but just heat it up a little bit and then it'll just push straight in. Now we can move on to the next side. Basically the same process, but this time it's got a few more cutouts for the ABXY buttons. This is a bit of a trick, but to save time pulling out all the vent holes, you can lift the skin up, stick it to the backing paper and then lift it up, and it can pull out the vent holes for you. Just makes it a little bit quicker sometimes. Again, just use all the vent holes to help align the skin, and then press it down once it's in position. For the side piece, you can place it closer, so then there'll be less of a white space. How I designed the skin though, there is meant to be a white space, as it will just align better and closer to the edges. Now that the front's done, we can move on to the top and bottom. Just use the top of the screen to align it and all the cutouts. As it's a straight piece on the top, it's fairly easy. Just be gentle when first getting it into place. But once you've got it into place, then you can press it down to firmly hold it. Just be careful not to press down hard. If you need to lift up and adjust, it's quite thin in places. When you're happy with the placement, you can just firmly rub down along the edges just to get it fully stuck. And just smooth off the edge next to the screen. It's best to use a little bit of heat on the top, just at the front, as it's quite a sharp curve at the top of the screen. Now that the top's done, we can move on to the bottom piece. Just like the top piece, just align it with the bottom of the screen. There's just a little bit of a lip that you should be able to get stuck down first. And then once that's in place, you can adjust it and press down on the main bottom part. Again, using heat on the bottom edge just helps smooth it off. So the skin's got like a nice smooth edge right next to the screen. We designed the skin to be in multiple pieces, just to make it easier installing. I initially tried with it being one piece, but it was just a bit more difficult. If you want to fit the stickers for the buttons, you can do. If not, just skip this part. It can be a little bit fiddly just because they're quite small. Using tweezers is a lot better. Just pick them up and put them into position when you're happy with how they are, and if they're in place, just tap down just to hold them down. Using the heat just makes it easier to get it fully stuck down. Just tap the buttons a few times as if you was playing a game or something, as well as pressing on the joystick. It'll just help smooth off the button stickers. Now we can get started on the back piece. Again, this is in multiple parts just to try and make it as simple and easy to install. This is probably the most time-consuming part of actually fitting the skin, because we wanted the back piece to fit really well and not just have huge cutouts around the vents. All the single vent holes need to be picked out. Again, it is time-consuming, but definitely worth it. It looks so much better than just one huge cutout. After spending like 5 minutes just picking out all the vent holes, now we can finally get started with fitting the back skin. Because the back skin tucks under the back trigger just a little bit, it's better to just to fold over the skin, just how I'm doing it. If you're really struggling, you can cut and make it two separate parts and then just align them if you prefer, but you should be able to do it in one piece. The skin will be tacky, but it won't fully stick down until you press hard. So it should be fairly easy to fit the back piece in one go. If you need to lift up and adjust, just don't fully press down until you're happy with the position. And just make sure that the vent holes are free. I did oversize the vent holes just a little bit, so that if you don't get the skin perfectly aligned, it won't block bringing fresh air into the ROG Ally. Definitely don't want it to overheat. Again, on these side pieces, they tuck under the back trigger just a little bit. And we can also use the straight edge in the cutouts just to align it. Once you've got it in position, then we can fully stick it down properly. If you get it in position correctly, then there's basically no join. Because the side of the ROG Ally is so curved, the skin initially won't want to go down. You'll be able to get it stuck to just around the trigger. But then to get the rest of it stuck down, we're going to need to use a little bit of heat. After warming up the vinyl and making it a bit more flexible, we'll then be able to start pushing it around the curve. If you need to, you might need to do it a few times. But when you've got it close to the edge and the skin's nice and flexible, it'll just start to like pull itself closer and closer to the edge. And then that's the side piece done. Just follow the exact same process for the opposite side. It's a little bit out of focus, but you can see I'm using the cutout and the edge just to align it. And then just press it on that edge just to hold it in place. Just take your time when doing the sides because it is so curved. If you rush it and try and do it too quick, you may get air bubbles or you might get some creases. If you do, you'll have to lift it back up, warm up the skin again, and then just gradually work it a bit slower towards the edge. Using heat over the edges and then wiping firmly will just smooth off the edges of the skin. It'll just make it feel a lot better when you've got it in your hands and you're playing games. The heat and the pressure just rounds off the edge of the skin, making it feel nice and smooth. Now it's just the last few parts, the top and bottom. As it's straight and got big vent cutouts, it's really easy to align. Just align it with the back skin and all the vent cutouts, and then press firmly into place. The bottom piece is really simple too. Just align the skin with one edge, hold it in place, and then pull it across to the other side. You can use the edge of the ROG shell to align it. And then once you've just got it lightly tacked in place, then you can press down to get it firmly held. And then as a last step, just use heat over the entire skin. And now we just need to wipe down firmly over all the edges to make sure the skin's fully stuck down and nice and smooth. And that's it. The skin's now fit to the ROG Ally. Initially we did try parts for the back, but because it's quite textured and so curved, it just felt kind of uncomfortable while holding it for long periods in gaming. So that's why we left those bits uncovered. Let us know what you think down in the comments below, and hopefully this helped you fit your ROG Ally skin.